Hey everyone. I wanted to share something today which hopefully might help some of you who maybe are on a healing journey. But I think it's actually even bigger than that. I think it's a key ingredient in success in whatever endeavor we are embarking upon. And what I wanted to share is that, I've been helping someone at the minute who's going through a quite an intense healing journey. And one of the things that often happens when we embark on that kind of journey is we start listening to stories of other people who've been in our position, and we want to know what they did to get through the predicament that they find themselves in. And it's really easy when we start tuning into these kind of stories from various different people to get very caught up in the specific prescriptions of what they did. What diet did they take? What treatments did they take? What supplements did they take? And of course, what you start to notice when you listen to enough of these stories is that they conflict and that nobody's journey is the same. And so, although we may get a label for something that is wrong with us, rarely are the things that get us to the other end the same for all of us. And of course, if you are busy trying to find the recipe for what's going to get you out of the predicament, this can cause you a lot of stress because you now don't know what to do with the conflicts in all of the stories. And you go, well, like, this person took this diet and this person took that diet, but they're completely different. So what do I do? And so I wanted to try and share something I see because I was someone that shared my story. I still do at times share my story of recovering from chronic fatigue with people. But I always hoped that people would listen not so much for what I did, but for who I became in that journey. And what I mean by that is that what I see unifying all of these stories that people share is that at some point they started to trust their journey. They started to trust what they knew to be true versus trying to find the magic solution that was in supposedly in all of these stories that is actually not there. From what I can see, the magic solution is that at some point we come home and we start to trust our nudges. We start to act from a place of love and trust and faith and knowing of what we know versus what other people have done. And of course, part of what can scare us away from trusting that is that there's all sorts of programming that we get from other people who are innocently sharing their story, but they're indicating, well, this is the right way and that's the wrong way. Well, it wasn't the wrong way for somebody else who went that way, right? And it starts to tell you that a lot of what you're up against is actually programming from people that is telling you that things are going to go a certain way, when actually there's all sorts of evidence that they don't always go that way. So, what's the differentiator? The differentiator is, from what I see, the people who get to a place of success with what they're doing. And it isn't just in health journeys, it's actually in everything. The people who create success, it's not because they've modeled the exact steps that somebody else took to get to the place they want to get to. It's that at some point they started to trust their journey, what they know, and they put down the conditioning that was being received from outside there. And they trusted, well, if it's coming from here and this is what I know to do, then that's the right place and that's the right direction for me to go. And so if you're in that place right now of struggling to try and find, well, is it this or is it that? Perhaps it's an opportunity for you to go, okay, I'm going to put that down and come back here and go, well, what do I know right now? And it's an opportunity for you to start to trust your own self. Now, that doesn't mean you don't listen to other people's stories. You can. And sometimes it's helpful. But listen for the space of resonance. Listen to hear in other people's stories things that resonate vibrationally with your own knowing and what you know. And if there are things that don't resonate, well, chances are they aren't for you and you can put them down. Now, I suppose since I've talked about this in the context of health, I have to say this is just for information only. Don't take this as medical advice. Check this with your doctor, etc., etc., etc. I suppose I have to say that. But I'm urging you to come back to your intuition and what you know to do. And sometimes your intuition will be to check this with a doctor and a practitioner. I think it's right to do that a lot of the time. But sometimes you're going to conflict. And remember, sometimes even practitioners say different things. And you might end up having to go, well, which is it? Is it this or is it that? Well, it could be one or the other. It might be an answer that you don't know yet. You might go and talk to another doctor or another practitioner, right? So that's the thing that I see unifies all of these stories, right? It's not so much what was done, although sometimes you will have a resonance with what certain people have done. It's the fact that people come to own their own journey and start to trust themselves and their path and what they know. And yes, sometimes that knowing leads them down a diet this way, or it leads someone else down a diet that way, or it leads them down a coaching path this way, or a coaching path that way. That's the point. When it's coming from here, that is our way forward, not so much what people are telling us to do. So I hope that's helpful and sending lots of love. Take care.